Hello, YouTube. It's me. Um, I'm bringing a matter forward today that I'd like to discuss that I feel that all beginning preppers is going to have to address. And even if you don't consider yourself a prepper, as long as you've got resources, food, water, and different things, and family members or friends may know that you have an abundance of resources on hand. The main issue, or basically the elephant in the room that most people don't want to discuss, because it becomes a matter of conscience, and it's going to be one of the hardest decisions you're going to have to make, or one of the hardest things you're going to have to do. And it's called, what do you do when people say, I'm coming to your house when the shit hits the fan? And I hear every week, monthly, every time I get around people to get to talking about what's going on in the world, and I start trying to tell them what I'm trying to do, what I plan to do, what I think they should be doing, and I try to share information with them to get them started. Instead of them starting, the first thing that they say is, "Well, when shit hits the fan, I'm coming to your house." I mean, I haven't given you no invite. I haven't said anything to even make you think that. And what makes that situation hard and difficult to deal with is when you start to have to make the decision and you're dealing with family or close friends. That's when it's really bad, because now these people that you deal with or occasionally deal with, you're going to have to turn them away, and they're closer to you than just a normal stranger would be. Now, when they say, I'm coming to your house, well, sure, I understand why they're saying that. They realize that in their minds, by camping up with you, or hanging out with you, that's going to basically give them the best chance for survival. They realize you've got skills, you got resources, you got things put back. And so, quite naturally, I can understand why they feel that way, because you are their best chance of making it through a bad situation. But what I don't like is, while I'm prepping and I'm sacrificing, going through great pains, because money is a tight resource for me, uh, these people are out taking vacations. They're going places. They're living their best life. They're enjoying themselves. They're seeing the sights. But when something goes down, they're going to come to my house. Now, I'm going to say something that sounds profound, but I have yet for any one of them to call me up and say, Aaron, we're getting ready to go on this week-long vacation or 2-week-long vacation, and we want you to come with us. It's going to be all expenses paid. You won't have to pay for room, board, food, nothing. I've never had anyone say that to me. But when they say that they're going to come to my house when shit hits the fan, that's what they're basically saying. I'm coming over to your house. You're going to provide me with free room, free board, except the vacation won't end in a few days. It could go on for months. And I have a real issue with that, because if you haven't done anything to try to save your own life, at least pick up extra skills or training somewhere, then what do you expect me to do for you? I have a limited resources. I can only save so many people. There's only so many places at the table set up. And now you want me to make extra places at my table for you? You wasn't figured into my plans when I first started. And now, because of a friendship or family relationship, I'm supposed to take you in? How often do you even call to check on me? Most of the people I don't even hear from, but they're going to come running to my house when the shit hits the fan. And then I also have to ask myself this: what are they bringing to the table? Most of them are going to come empty handed. They're going to bring extra mouths to feed. And 9 times out of 10, they will have told family, some of their family and friends, I know where we can go. And they're going to show up with small groups of people and expect you to take everybody in. And I happen to know of one case of a prepper that was down in Venezuela a few years back. I used to follow his posts, and he saw the signs. He was reading the right signs, and he knew that his economy was about to collapse. And he made a video saying that he had a whole year's worth of food put back for him, his wife, and his 2 daughters. Then the collapse occurred, and as they got so many weeks into it, he took in some extra mouths to feed, some family members, friends, some elderly, both neighbors as well as his family members, and a few friends and their families. And that year's worth of food only lasted 3 months. And what I noticed was the funny thing was he later posted that when his food and water ran out, the people ran out. They all left. He asked some of them where they were going. They said, I'm not telling you because you might show up. And I thought that was dead wrong. But like I said, when the food ran out, they ran out because there's no more resources there. Then he started posting how his family was starving because he opened the door of his ark and took in these people that did nothing to prepare for anything or to even save their own lives. And then another question you have to ask yourself again, when I said the type of people that you're letting in, if you decide to let any in, what are they bringing to the table? Do they have any skills to contribute whatsoever? The biggest thing that I've noticed that people have said to me is, I can fight. And I'm looking at them like, okay, you've never been in the military, you've never seen combat, so you're totally untested there. I don't even know if you're even a good shot with a firearm. And if you don't have your own, and what are you going to use? Someone's going to put a weapon in your hand that you're unfamiliar with, you don't know how to work it, and you're going to be proficient with it. 9 times out of 10, you've got no skills at all because you haven't prepped any. You have no preps put back. You've got no training put back. And to say that you could fight is immaterial. It's useless. Because if we're in a WROL situation, which stands for without rule of law, everybody capable of holding a weapon or bearing them, from the elderly down to the children, if things are that bad, will have to fight. So just saying you could fight means absolutely nothing. Nothing. And if you say, well, I can drive heavy equipment, or I can drive a truck, or I can drive different things, well, we're sheltering in place. How do those skills come into play? Maybe down the road, when you're out scavenging or something, that might have some value, maybe. But if the situation ends in a couple months or so, then those skill sets mean absolutely nothing. And along with that, your mind's not even prepared for what you're about to go through. You've been living your best life. You've been having a great, wonderful time, hollering weed, you're having fun, traveling, seeing the world, but you're not mentally prepared to get ready to endure what you got to go through. And one of the things that I've noticed, people don't like being told what to do. I mean, anyone that you let in to your place as a beginning prepper, if you're going to let them in, the question you got to ask yourself, can they pull their own weight? What can they do? What are they bringing to the table? And again, I'm going to warn you that nobody likes being told what to do. Once they get into your property for about the first week or two, everybody's going to be on their P's and Q's. But after that, just let them get comfortable. Let them get sitting a little bit too long. And you start telling them to pull guard duty or go dig in the garden and weed the garden, they're going to tell you real quick, you don't tell me what to do. You ain't my boss. Or if their children are raiding your food pantry because they don't want to be on the rations that you're giving them and they're stealing the desserts or whatever, and you say something to them, the mother or father is going to be quick to tell you, you don't talk to my kid like that. Now you're going to have to make a decision how you're going to get them out. And let's say you have a family of 4 or 5, you, your wife, your children, and you don't let 10, 20 people in. How do you get that many people out of your house? So the best thing to do is not let them get in the first place. So you have to make a decision that when they show up uninvited and they want access, you're going to have to make a decision security-wise. Do I open my door to them? Do I talk to them through the door? Because if you open the door, somebody can shoot you real quick, and they could crowbar your front door open and come on in and raid your house and injure your family in the process of taking what they want. You look at what's going on over in the Bahamas right now. The people that let folks in that had sense enough to buy houses up on the hills, when the food started getting low, especially the water, because that was the first thing they started running out of, the people that occupied the house unified, and they put the other people out because they felt less mouths to feed, less people to drink water, they could stretch the remaining resources. Those people got put out of their own properties because they let these people in. And these were their own friends and family members that did it. That's the difficult thing. I mean, I'm not trying to say that you have to show tough love here, but this becomes a matter of conscience. You can't save everybody, and you're going to have to make a decision that how are you going to handle this when people show up uninvited, and they will. And again, security-wise, I wouldn't even open the door. I would acknowledge your presence. You would have to decide if you want to give them a meal and some water and send them on their way, or if you choose not to give them anything. That's going to be what you're going to have to decide. But if you let them in, you've already violated your own security. And when the numbers inside start to outnumber what you already had there, now it becomes a matter of force, numbers, of who's going to be able to stay and who's going to leave. And then how are you going to enforce rules on people that, as grown-ups, again, like I said, nobody likes being told what to do. So how are you going to be able to enforce that? And the best thing to do is not let it happen in the first place. Don't let them in. Try to encourage them now. I mean, I'll tell anybody right now, let me help you get ready. I provide free information on a daily basis on the ARIN Facebook page as well as the Aaron Olinger Facebook page. Daily, they can save that information to their phones. They can start prepping. They could call me up to ask questions. I can meet with people and do consultations. But if you don't, and you figure on, I'm going to Aaron's house when something goes wrong, I can tell you right now, don't even bother. Because if you haven't done anything to save your own self, there's nothing I can do for you. I have just enough for me and mine. If I had a lot of money, then maybe I could be magnanimous, but I don't. So unless you got with me ahead of time and you're part of the party, there's no point in coming. And for the beginning preppers out there and the people that don't consider themselves preppers but are putting a little bit back to be more prepared, take that in consideration. That's going to be the hardest decision you're going to have to make, whether or not to let these people in. They're going to come, and they're definitely coming. I mean, out of probably 100 people that tell me they're coming to my house, I know right off the bat 75 of them will show because they know I'm the best bet for them to get through a situation. The other 25 will show later as they become more desperate. So you have to make up your mind if you're going to bug out, if you're going to shelter in place, and then how are you going to handle family and friends or other people showing up uninvited, wanting to get some resources from you. Because like I said, that nursery rhyme called The Three Pigs, they're out here partying, they're laughing at you, calling you doomsday man or calling you whatever. But when shit hits the fan and they told you that they're coming to your house, you better believe they're coming. So how are you going to handle that? Are you going to expose yourself? Are you going to go outside to talk to them and there's a group out there and it's just you and your family's inside looking out the windows? Are you going to talk to them through a door? And I will also advise you this, don't make an enemy of them, because they'll leave, they go back with other people, and people get desperate enough, they're going to open their mouth and they're going to say, I know where there's plenty of food and water at. I know who's got it. And they're not sharing. So what are we going to do about that? And now you got a mob coming to your property. So you don't want to make an enemy of them, but you want to figure out a way of how you're going to handle them in a neutral manner, not a threatening manner, but a neutral manner or a friendly manner, so that you don't make an enemy, but also get them to leave the property peacefully. And this is going to be one of the hardest tasks you will ever have to do, because as long as people know you have resources available and you could be an asset to their survival, they're most definitely going to be coming. So anyone out there watches this video, you've got to get a mindset, you got to get a plan and ahead of time of what you're going to do. And I'm telling you, this is going to be tough, because it could be your grandparents, it could be your uncles and aunts, it could be your cousins, it could be your best friends. But when these people show up, they're going to be coming with other people with them. And you're going to have to decide by looking at your resources, How long can your food and water go? And like I said, that guy had a year's worth of food in Venezuela. And after everybody ate it up, it lasted 3 months. And now him and his family was starving. And these people didn't take them with them. And when people tell you that I don't have enough money to prep, but they're buying bottles, they're turning up bottles, they're buying weed, they're going on trips, they're buying the latest fashions, the latest iPhones or whatever. They're absolutely doing nothing to try to save their own selves. They don't even have the mindset to live and to let that type of person in your house with you that's going to fight you tooth and nail on everything you try to do. That's going to be a handicap, and you don't need those kind of people around you. So this, again, is a matter of conscience. You got to search your own heart, your own beliefs. But I'm going to tell you this, that the scriptures say to make preparations for things that are to come. So it's even in the Bible telling people to do that. And if these people choose to do nothing, they choose to ignore the word, they choose to ignore the warnings, then they're just going to suffer the consequences. So that's all I have to say today. I hope that you take this, the meaning, you get some sort of plan of action in place when it comes, because it is going to happen. It's going to happen more than once. So all of you out there, have a great day.